This is the results of 500 runs in the Otherworldly Hunt difficulty, or 1000 leaf spent. It's split between 190 that I did on one of my ults, and then 310 that one of my guildmates did on one of his ults. 500, the sample size, I think is like okay. It's not fantastic, but this is honestly just too expensive to run. It's hard to get larger samples. This is probably one of the larger samples that I've seen so far, but I expect to see larger ones eventually. I would just say take this data with a grain of salt just because I'm not too satisfied with the sample size myself. But here, this is the whatever resources we got per like set of runs split between me and my guildmate. He did not track his reforged materials, but we'll make do with whatever I had here. And then you can see by heroic, epic, and otherworldly that we got per set. And you can see there's like a bit of variance between them. Like I hit 5 on a 20 run, and the highest he ever got was 6 on a 31. Sometimes we get 1. So a lot of variance on the otherworldly pieces. We can take a look at the totals here though. 500 runs, 1000 leaf spent. The gold and stigma, it's the same for every single run. It's 120 stigma per run, and the gold is 216, assuming you have 10% EXP from your reputations, and also a 10% EXP or gold buff from your guild. So two 10% gold buffs per stamina. That comes out to 1,350 gold per stamina, and 0.75 stigma per stamina. Now for the conversion reforged materials and hunt reforged materials, sometimes you have a chance of getting the big drops, so that's why the number is a little bit higher. Again, sample size, so there's a little bit of variance here. But it's about 4.3-ish per run, so it's 160 stamina divided, it's a very small number, and about 20.6-ish per run for hunt reforged mats. Same thing with the per stamina, it's a much lower number because this is 160 energy per run. For the otherworldly pieces over the 1000 leafs / 500 runs, we got 60 otherworldly pieces, 1,666 epic pieces, 1,397 heroic pieces. The epic rate is really, really high. Here you can see you can expect about 0.12 otherworldly pieces per run, about 3.33 epics, and about 2.79 heroics. You get 6 pieces per run on average, though there are also pet procs. I only had an 8% gear pet, he had an 11% gear pet, but we know that the base rate is 6. So here we can take a look at the rates, making sure this adds up to 100, and that the average amount per run adds up to 100 as well. You can see it's roughly 1.92%. It's hard to say whether this is higher or lower. 2% looks like a nice round number, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was lower, because my guildmate mentioned that he just hit 565 at the very end, and this could be lucky, or it could be he was unlucky at his starts, because you can see it was like kind of trending upwards a little bit. For me, I had a couple of lucky runs at the beginning, and then like a bump here, and the rest was pretty flat. So I don't think it's any higher than 2%. I would expect it to be lower, probably closer to 1.5% if I had to guess, but that might just be me. Like just how I felt doing these runs, averaging out to about 0.115 per run. The epics, about 53.35%. Not sure what this is supposed to round to. Again, these might not necessarily round out to nice whole numbers. It's just we'll just like looking for round numbers. Like, yeah, average about 3.2 per run. And then for the heroics, I got about a 44.73% heroic rate for about 2.68 average per run. And you can see just the epic rate is just so high. It's higher than the heroic rate, probably, especially when you combine it with the other world. But there are a couple of things to factor in because we are doing hunts. If you take a look at Rift, Rift drops on average 2 pieces of gear per run, or per like full clear. Now let's assume you can one-shot it, because one-shotting is pretty trivial these days. Rift is 40 energy to enter. Otherworldly Hunt is 160. So 4 Rift runs equals 1 Otherworldly Hunt run. That's why here we have 2 times 4. And this times the epic rate. Epics are 20% drop rate in Rift and 80% for heroics. So you get about 1.6 epic pieces per 4 Rift sets, and then about 6.4 heroic pieces per 4 Rift sets. And this comes out to about 8 pieces total versus the 6 of Hunt. But again, most of those are going to be epics in Hunt, while not as many are going to be that in Rift. But the important thing is that in Rift, you can select your sets. So all 4 of your sets, no matter what set you hit on your epics, are guaranteed to be good. That is not necessarily the case in Hunt. In Hunt, for Wyvern, you have speed, hit, and crit. You only really care about speed. Hit is a decent 2-piece to have. Maybe crit is a decent 2-piece to have for like openers or something. But for the most part, you only really care about speed. So what happens if we divide this by 3? Because 2/3 of our drops are more or less useless, then you only really end up with like a 1.06/07 epic drop rate. It's obviously a lot better if you have 2 sets that you're okay with. So something like Banshee, maybe, where Destruction is always good. I don't think Lifesteal or Resist are like super, super valuable, though they're okay. Something like Counter can be used sometimes, though. There's like a decent amount of units that want Counter. So maybe if you're doing something like Banshee, I think it's okay. Again, though, the problem with this is, for one, this is kind of minor, but your pets proc like per run. So your pets would have like 4 times the chance to proc on your Rift runs compared to your Otherworldly Hunt runs. And there's also buffs. We don't know what the buffs are going to be yet. Like, we haven't seen a buff for Otherworldly Hunt. The current Hunt buff is for crafting mats, so that one is like not going to work on Otherworldly Hunt because there's no mats for us to craft with. While on the other hand, Rift has its 20% extra gear chance drop, which helps a lot here. I would say that in general, the big problem with Otherworldly Hunt is that when you are farming, you're going to be stuck with only gear for that specific set. Like, even if you're doing Banshee, like I mentioned, you're only going to have Destruction and Counter gear. And it feels kind of bad whenever you get gear for, well, the sets that you aren't going to use. We can take a look also at some of the pieces that I got, because Otherworldly gear sounds really, really good, right? But you have to deal with base rolls. Like here, I had one FRES line, low crit chance, okay speed, good HP, and then I hit FRES once, and I'm considering resetting this, but I'm probably not going to just because we have the FRES line here. There's a really good chance I hit it again. Like, I think this is probably the best piece I've gotten so far. Don't know who's using it, like maybe Aria or something. And then there's some pieces with really high gear score here, sure, but like who is using this? We don't have like good users for a lot of these pieces. I guess this is also an Aria piece. You can see it's like all like pretty niche gear because you still have to deal with like sets, you have to deal with base stats, low rolls, bad sub synergy, that kind of stuff. A lot of the best pieces I got were just normal pieces. Like, I got this really sick sword here, this Penta HP sword, 48% HP. Really, really nice. This is not otherworldly, this is just a normal piece of gear. Same thing here, 41% effectiveness chest. This is just a regular piece of gear, 21 speed ring. Like, these are all just normal pieces of gear. This is okay for beginners, 17 speed effectiveness ring. Like, you can see some of the otherworldly pieces I'm keeping, I'm just keeping them because their gear score is high. I have no idea what I'm doing with them. Like, I don't know what I'm doing with this. FRES, defense, crit damage, crit chance. Like, maybe it's like Blessing of the Stars gear or something. But also, after I did all my Wyvern runs, I was like, okay, like, I got some pieces, and I only have speed set. Where are my other sets? I don't have any destruction gear. So I tried farming Banshee for some destruction gear, and what did I largely end up with? I ended up with a lot of resist and a lot of lifesteal gear, which I don't really care about. Like, I got some good pieces out of it, I would say. This is a pretty good piece. This is nice. This is solid PvE gear. Like, there is a distinct lack of red here, and mostly just, like, blue, which is the 3 sets that I don't really want. This is pretty nice. That is one of the issues, just not being able to target sets, I think is a big issue. The other thing is also because, like, you're burning all your leaves, and we don't know how the buffs interact with this yet. So I would probably hold out on farming this for now, wait and see if we get like any sort of buffs that interact with Otherworldly Hunt. For now, I still think that Rift is just better for most people. It's going to give you a better spread of gear, just because you're going to be able to target 4 sets at once, especially because like speed and destruction are going to be like permanently there pretty much. And then between HP, torrent, protection, or counter, or whatever you want to have in that slot, immunity, the other 2 slots, it's going to give you a much better gear spread compared to Hunt. Like, you can ask some other people, like Dwight spent 1,000 leaves on Otherworldly Hunt, and he did not get very, very much. Again, like, there's a lot of RNG involved because you're just rolling gear and stuff, but I was not too particularly impressed with what I got from Otherworldly Hunt after spending 380 leaves in there.